Alright guys, the time has come. We gotta address the elephant in the room. No, not you, Dumbo. But thanks for stopping by. Back in 2021, they took away series in the main line, as in no cars were restricted to any series. There wasn't no Dynaco 400, Radiator Springs, World Grand Prix, you name it. So we all said, wow, so this actually gives them the doorway to do anything they want. There's no restrictions. No car has to fit in a certain series, even though sometimes that rule was bent because they don't know their left foot from the right. But point still stands. Boy, did they take that terminology so literally, and it just got worse and worse throughout the years. And now, welcome to 2025, where not only has it really gotten way too far, it's gotten a priority over what the main line should and always was about, the main line being about movie releases, stuff from the actual physical media. Heck, even back in the day, they wouldn't even allow Mater's Tall Tales to enter the main line, even though it was still physical media. They restricted it to movie stuff alone. Cars 1 or Cars 2, and even a little bit of Cars 3, of course. But we're going to get right into why things are out of control. I'm going to just lay everything out on the line. Please feel free to also join this conversation in the comments down below, because really curious to see what other people's experiences are with the way things are going right now. And I just think a video about this really had to be addressed with the way things are heading. So we're just going to start off with a couple of different points, but we'll start off with this. This is simply just taking up slots for movie releases. Now, normally that wouldn't really feel like an issue, right? People would not have minded if you threw in like a holiday car here and there. That's what they did back in 2021. You had a McQueen and Ramon, but it was literally just two of them. The Racing Red was there. That was still cool. It was special edition. Wasn't a gimmick. But still, there was only 6, and they were spread out throughout the year, but they weren't there at the expense of some movie stuff. That wasn't the only thing you got. So it's just taking up slots from movie releases. We only have Jonathan Garrison and Masha Elswrench this year from Cars on the Road and Cars 1. And Masha doesn't even technically appear, but we all love and accept her because every racer needs a crew chief. Like, that's an easy headcanon. Like, they literally have to exist, you know? And another point is the inconsistency. There's not like any finer right for certain gimmicks to be in the main line over others. Like, why is the Glow Racers then still a sideline? The NASCARs is still a sideline, but then Race and Rescue and Rally Race, if you want to like consider them separate, GRC, they get this mainline treatment, and it's just weird. I hear the argument that people say that they want these to hit everywhere. So if you put them in the main line, it gives you a broader range across the globe, your marketing globe, for it to get out there for even select countries that don't get sidelines. That is a point for sure, but I'm sorry. We've been through this for over a year. Ever since the GRCs first got introduced, that was our first taste of a gimmick in the main line. There's been way too many cons that outweigh the pros, and it is really just one big fat mess right now. And especially because the movie cars are no longer a priority, or just, might as well just say media cars, like, let alone the movie. You know, we have Tokyo Mater stuff here and there. There's some new variants. On the Road is 3 years old, and I still think we're missing significant variants from there. And yet On the Road was still a massive problem in the main line because it was handled badly. And that's another video on its own, because I do want to make a video just going over what went wrong for Cars on the Road and why it just completely flopped, basically, in the diecast line. And I just think that this should not be happening. Like, why are we prioritizing this stuff over movie stuff? Isn't that what keeps it collectible? Isn't that what we've been growing our collections for 20 freaking years at this point, some of us, like, and even if you didn't start till Cars 2 or Cars 3, like, that's a decent amount of years you built your collection. You're basing it off of stuff from the movies on the media, and each year you're like, okay, let's see what new stuff they put out that I can actually build upon the previous stuff. Race and Rescue was just like a new concept that's just introduced to us this year. Same with the GRC, as cool as the GRC still is in my opinion. But these are just brand new concepts that you already know is going to come and go. It's not going to have any long lasting, like, you're not going to expand on it. They didn't expand on GRC and they only had 4 to go. And so what's the point? the sidelines actually gives them the leeway to be expansive. You can think, okay, maybe we'll get a couple more. There could be waves that go throughout the year. And they've literally proven that with glow racers. And the glow racers are being handled terribly. They've been around since 2023. They are getting renewed for 2026. And within the last year, we've had 3 new ones, Ramon and Storm, which took absolute ages to hit targets in the US in mass. And right now we just have Wingo. Yeah, just Wingo. It's a tuner. It's nice. The tuners, plural, should have been what marketed this campaign from the start. You can clearly tell that Mattel just kind of threw Wingo up as like a last minute resort because they saw that glow races weren't as popular as they thought they were, because Mattel sometimes can or can't acknowledge that they have absolute low level IQ individuals on the Cars team in the last few years. There's no DJ, no Snot Rod, no Boost to our knowledge. I won't be surprised if they come along the line, but regardless if they do or don't, guys, why are we waiting over a year just to complete a set of 4 cars? Why is this still going around? No one likes them. No one buys them on a consistent basis. That's why they constantly peg warm, because it's just the same rehash of the same characters. But my point is, the sidelines don't get handled well. You're telling me you need to put things in the main line just to like at least distribute them properly and like give you a nice window? It's almost like Mattel's trying to give themselves a handicap. We're like, oh yeah, you better put them in these cases. So we have to force ourselves to actually get them out on time. We can't handle ourselves with sidelines because it kind of just enables us to linger and linger and linger, and then stuff doesn't come out in a good time frame. Then people just get tired of waiting, and then you lose all the motivation behind getting them. You lose any of the appeal to getting them, and then it just feels like a chore to get them. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic, and it needs to be called out. And here's another point. Just not even the designs are really all that good sometimes. Like, you can just tell that they pick and choose when they want to go the extra effort. Very sloppy designs. Like, I understand the glow racers is just glow racers, like, you know, racers that glow. They didn't do a design overhaul. I think they should have, but they didn't, whatever. But, like, the race and rescue, guys, it's so, like, nitpicky where they actually put in the effort and where they didn't. Like, Danny looks just completely, like, created within, like, a span of 2 minutes. Someone just created that design on a whimsy and, like, slapped logos and called it a day. There's not, like, much different there. There's not a sense of creative liberty. There's not like an artistic nature behind it. It feels like something a fan could have just like you know, spurred up in the span of like 3 minutes. But then other ones like Chick are actually on the more decent side. And notice how Chick was in the first wave and Danny's going to be one of the last ones released. You can tell almost that Race and Rescue had an intent, and they had creative designs at first. Like, they put in effort, and then like in the back half they're like, you know, we're just gonna like throw stuff on last minute, we'll slap some logos and just put them out there. Like, that is not going to happen if these were sidelines, Mattel. You give yourself more leeway that way, so you're giving yourself an invisible handicap for whatever reason. I just don't understand it, guys. And the fact that it's the only offering to, did anyone go into 2025 saying, oh, I would love if the only thing we got is gimmicks? I don't like movie cars. Glow racers, oh yeah, let's bring them back for 2 years straight so we can only get Wingo. Like, not even the full complete set of tuners. NASCARs are still going about. They're still bringing out accessory 2-packs with the NASCAR releases. Let's do that. Oh my god, how about we do this entirely new concept, Race and Rescue, without even completing the GRC? Let's do that as the only thing we offer to people for the entire second half of a calendar year. And on top of that, let's carry it over into the next main line so it can also infest that main line and take up some more slots from stuff that could have been dedicated to the movies. Do you guys see where so many things just go wrong and why things are just way too far? We've gone way too far at this point. Like, straw that broke the camel's back, basically, was Race and Rescue. And if people want to ignore those signs, then you do you. I just don't want to hear any complaints when the aftermath of it actually catches up and you can kind of see it for yourself. So some of these things have to be addressed. Like, who are we as collectors or fans? Or if you're just getting them like for kids or toys, you can be any age you want. But some of these issues, just long lasting, is not going to last. So you might as well address them, while maybe you can just actually point out the flaws. And then, I want to have this line be healthy long term. And right now, I feel like this isn't going to help that case for it to be good long term. And that's what we all want, right? We don't want it to just kind of go out on a whimper. We don't really want it to just become just ultimate brain rot. Like, we want it to feel collectible and nice to actually get. So, I think we can all agree on that. We all just want this line to do well. And the line's just simply not going to do well long term if stuff like this still happens. Like, as a one-off, it's bad enough. If it drags on, guys, trust me, you'll see a lot of different faces in the community, because the old ones that actually were around when Mattel cared are just going to be gone because they don't see any love anymore. There's no love truly put into this line. And also just really forgettable. Are we really going to sit here 10 years from now and be like, oh my god, yeah, the best thing that I remember collecting, Race and Rescue, this gimmick from a children's book that took until 6 months after the diecast even came out to drop. And then you have dragging on the gimmicks for too long. And that's another thing, guys. So Mattel's logic is, okay, we want them to be out for an entire year. That was the GRC's logic. That was the Race and Rescue's logic. So we're going to carry them over into the following mainline year. And I would assume Race and Rescue is going to follow a path with GRC and only do first half of the year. And then by the time we get to halfway, which is June, then we're just going to discontinue them and start something new. That's probably what's going to happen. We're probably going to see Race and Rescue get discontinued at the point that the Celebration cars start coming about. And just why? I have a great solution, Mattel. You want these to be out for a full year? Sure. How about just put them in the first case of a mainline year and then just distribute them throughout that entire year? So you can still have them out for a year duration, but it still is at least only in one mainline and doesn't carry over and infest more slots. This is not rocket science, guys. And also all over the place characters. Guys, Kathy Copter as a helicopter, I've said enough about that. That's the only point I can make alone. That's yeah, this line is just so random. We're pulling from so many things. There's some blatant absentees. It's not collectible. It's so all over the place. It's so messy. It's so random. No one said, oh yeah, Kathy Copter's going to complete the puzzle. She's not even a rescue chopper. What happened to Rescue Squad Trooper, It's an actual rescue vehicle, not a reporter from Cars 1. I just don't... this appeal is just really bad. And like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm just free to hear others' opinions, but this video I feel just had to be out there. And I'll just say this too, the gimmicks back then, the T-Rock, that actually worked. And the reason why it worked is because it was a sideline. It wasn't the only offering. Can you imagine back in 2014 and 15, if the only thing you got was Carbon Racers, Ice Racers in the main line, and that was the only thing you got, everything else was just re-releases? I think we would sing a different tune about those lines, because we just remember of how it took the spotlight away from movie releases. It took priority over movie releases. But they were actually tolerable because they were in a sideline, so it didn't infest the main offering. So it was an actual bonus offering, not the main course. These are being treated as the main course, and it's pathetic. And they deserve every single little bit of hate and scrutiny that they are getting amongst the cars community. And this even goes for the glow racers who aren't even being handled well. NASCAR's infesting the pegs at Walmart, getting droves upon droves of them, just to put out 2 new ones in the space of a year, Danny and Chase, which are literally just metallic versions of previous ones. And yes, they do look better than their old ones. They're a little bit more updated. They look a little cleaner on the eyes and stuff. But who cares? What is this standard? It's not a good standard. At least finally do Taco Mint. Now, next year, granted, we do have some links that maybe we're going to get a Dale Jr. in the sign. If that happens, good. That's a good way to revive the line as things stand. But right now, it has infested Walmart, so much so that sometimes they don't even restock in the main line because they just see the NASCARs flooding the cars section, and they can't really separate that from the main line, so they don't think that they have to restock. So it's that much of a problem. And finally, I just wanted to make this video, which is only almost at 15 minutes at this point. I just want to tell people out there, we need to wake up, because this reality is settling in, and you can just see the cracks open and open and open. And for 2026, the only thing I could really ask for is that maybe I can just see some sense of normalcy back. Let's just stop with these gimmicks. They're out of control. I would just take no more gimmicks at all if you just can't handle them properly, and clearly they can't. Mattel can't be trusted with that. I would much rather if they brought back series in the mainline so that they actually do have that restriction on themselves, because clearly Mattel has shown us that if you can just do literally anything you want, you don't actually like take that with actual care. You are very careless with it. And when you're careless about a mainline like this, you're only asking it to go down and down and down until eventually it loses all its collectability, and you lose all the long-term people that have collected these things and have bought these things to play with, kids, whatever. It's going to lose that spice it had, and it's going to turn into a brain rot line. And the only people that we can point fingers at for that would be Mattel, because they're the ones that make the decisions. And right now, Race and Rescue has blown up in their face like I thought it would. Let me know what you guys think down below about the whole situation right now with gimmicks and expanded universe lines. Let me know what you think the fate is going forward. What are your thoughts? I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.